Hi all, I just want to give you a overview of the cover letter here, and so you can have a little guidance as you do your work and not have too much anxiety. So I'm hoping, let's just go to the first screen. Where do I click? Click over here. Okay, so definitely go into Canvas and read everything, but here is the gist of it. Says the final portfolio requires a cover sheet, so that's an essential part of this assignment, or the whole portfolio. Your portfolio will not pass without this cover letter, so you want to have it in there. So we want the cover letter to describe your work in the class, so you will illustrate it with examples. And I suggest strongly that you illustrate it with examples from the two essays that you have included in your portfolio, because that way the writer can then check on it and you are not just sort of talking the talk, but walking the walk in that cliched kind of phrasing. So you want to discuss what you learned about yourself as a writer. You can draw on Sullivan's 5 bullet points again, what that indicate you are indeed a college writer and that you understand that, and you can show it to your reader because of these guiding principles, your theory of writing. So your job is to write a memo to the reader describing how the essays in your portfolio illustrate your theory of writing and or what you've learned about yourself as a writer. I want you to use the rhetorical situation, audience purpose, genre, and context as the framework for your discussion. So I want you to follow along on the rhetorical situation path that we've been working on pretty much the whole quarter because I want these ideas to stick with you. So that's why I want you to write about them. The mentions that you want to use the two essays in your portfolio if you decide that you want to use an example to illustrate a point from your other essay, whichever one it happens to be. Make sure you introduce it in a way that makes that clear. So you might say along the lines, one example of understanding audience can be found in my discourse community essay, which I have not included as part of this portfolio, comma, but then you describe whatever it is in there. So as long as you give your reader an indication that that essay you're referring to is not in the portfolio, they won't waste their time looking for information that they're not going to find. So, but generally speaking, try your best to use examples from the essays in your portfolio. So, read that again if necessary, have a look at it. Let's go to the general guidelines. So you get 2 pages, single spaced type of course. We want paragraphs to function just as they did in all the essays. Tell the reader what it's about, tell the reader why it matters, give them specific and concrete examples, and tie that back to your overall claim. And this is the standard sort of 4-part paragraph I've been pushing, drawn from Aristotle, who says, tell them what it's all about, tell them why it matters, give them some evidence, and then the conclusion as to how that fits was not Aristotelian, but a later theorist by the name of Stephen Toulmin. If you're interested, you can look up the Toulmin, Toulmin, model of logic. That's where that comes from. So 2 pages, single space. Of course, paragraph breaks for each one. You can use block paragraphs, which means you just have extra space between them but no indent. Your paragraphing, as long as it's readable and reader friendly, is not going to be a make or break concern. I have 2 suggested general organizational strategies, and here is the first one. So strategy 1 calls for a paragraph of each. And so you're going to have your introduction, dear reader. Thank you for reading my portfolio. I appreciate you taking your time, salutations, and that sort of thing. That will be your introduction. and then you will move to the 4 elements of the rhetorical situation. The order here is just the order that they came out of my brain as I was typing them down. But each of these would be a paragraph. Put it in whatever order makes the most sense to you. And as discussed on the previous page, you're going to have, if we follow this pattern, one of the things that is now informing my theory of writing is the notion of audience. Topic statement. We need to pay attention to our audience because, well, if we want to transfer information, and they're the ones we want to transfer information to, we need to know how to meet their needs. So I've explained why it matters. And then you will bring in some example of you and your awareness, engagement of audience, and then you will conclude with some kind of explanation that shows why this matters in your theory of writing, how this is helping you be a college level writer, whatever the case may be, as long as you're being consistent. And then we'll move on to the next paragraph for purpose, then genre, then context, and so on down the line. So this is one potential organizational strategy. Now again, I want to remind you, use the essays that are in your portfolio to illustrate these, and there need to be specific examples. I would, you want to use both essays that are in the portfolio. If, for instance, you want to use your summary and response essay for, we'll say, purpose and genre, you want to have those two next to each other, and then you'll use, we'll say, your discourse community for context and audience, and you want to have those two, together. You don't want to do summary, response, audience, genre, discourse community, context, discourse community, summary and response, purpose. You want to have audience, purpose, genre, context. You want to have similar stuff lumped together, essentially. So anyway, this is one organizational strategy, and here comes the other organizational strategy. So this one is guided more by the essays as opposed to the previous one being guided, structured around the 4 elements of the rhetorical purpose, or situation, excuse me. So again, we'll have an introduction. Let's just say essay 1 is your summary and response essay. You will write about how you better came to understand notions of genre in that essay and how you came to understand better notions of context. Conceivably, this could be one paragraph, just one paragraph for essay 1, or you could have an essay 1 genre paragraph, essay 1 context paragraph, essay 2 purpose paragraph, essay 2 audience paragraph, and then your conclusion. So as it says down below, you want to be consistent and balanced. You don't want to do genre, context, purpose, and then in one essay, then audience in the other. Probably won't kill you in the portfolio process, but it's not, not the best balance, not a balanced approach. And also, you don't, so we want balance there. So if you do all 4, genre, context, purpose, audience, for, say, your summary and response essay, that means you need to do all 4 for the second choice, whether your discourse analysis or this theory of writing third essay, the researchy paper, whatever. Be balanced, be consistent. If portfolio essay 1 is one big paragraph, portfolio essay 2s should be one big paragraph. If one of them is split in half, the other should be split in half. Be consistent. So that is it. Hopefully this will help you. Neither one of these is necessarily better than the other. And of course, these groupings of genre, context, purpose, audience, you can do those however you like. I'm just, you give examples and they are what they are, but you can swap those around in whatever way makes sense. Just be balanced, be consistent, and you'll be doing the right sort of stuff. And of course, as always, illustrate each of the points with specific examples from your essays. And as a final reminder, the free write for this final essay, or for the final essay, the third essay, I mentioned to a number of you that what you had done there would serve as a good framework for your cover letter. So if I said that to you, or even if I didn't, you may want to go back and look at that free write and what you wrote there, and conceivably you will have a good chunk of this cover letter taken care of. So take that into consideration. Beyond that, I'm going to click on the end of the slideshow and have a blank screen except for my little face down in the corner. Say, I hope you have a good holiday. I'm going to be largely off the proverbial grid, driving to Portland Wednesday, driving home Saturday, staying with my brother who has the world's worst Wi-Fi setup, except for none, and who can never remember his password. So I don't know if I'll be online much at all over the holiday weekend. I'm hoping you also get to have a little bit or a lot of a break over the holiday weekend. So, but if you do have questions, do ask them. Just be patient because I don't know how timely I will be over the weekend. You may not hear from me until Sunday, depending upon how things go. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Do what you can. Don't do nothing because you're not sure. Instead, do what you think I'm asking for, and you'll probably be fine. Better to have something that is somewhat off target than to have nothing at all. So just keep that into account. So take care. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Bye-bye.